Oh shoot, something let go internally. I think the slipper clutch came undone or something. Well, I'm trying to figure out what the heck went wrong here with my Laegendeary Thunder. This shaft here just came apart. So to take the truck apart, I'm using my Shergo hex drivers. These things make all the difference when trying to get these hexes out, and you don't want to strip them, and they're real quick. You can just spin them real nicely. So huge improvement over the Allen keys. But at any rate, you want to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hexes, hex screws. And you can just kind of pull this out of the way, take your cover off here, and then I pick up this plastic piece here, move that out of the way, and now I'm gonna have to take the whole back end of the truck apart, it looks like, to get in here. Well, I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I just removed these 4 screws here, and then the whole back assembly comes off the truck. After removing these 3 screws here, I went ahead and I did pull the suspension arms out of the way, but now I think we need to remove these 2 screws here, holding the top of the differential assembly together. Yeah, these Shergo hex drivers are definitely the way to go. Such an improvement over what I've been doing in the past, just using the included hex wrenches. And now hopefully this will pull apart, which it did. Okay, now to remove this gear, I need to unscrew the nut here, and then I should be able to push this through. And there we go. And now I need to carefully remove this C-clip off the end of the, I guess it's an input gear, whatever gear this is, because I think we're gonna have to reuse that, and these do like to go flying. So I'm just gonna use this screwdriver and try to push down on this clip. There we go, and it came right off. So make sure you hold on to that. And there we go. Now we can install the new slipper assembly once it arrives in the mail. I received this new slipper assembly off Amazon, and it looks identical to the one that came in the truck. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing back together. It looks like it should be really simple to throw back in, provided that I can get that clip back in place. Did not come with the 2 bearings here, so we're gonna need to reuse these bearings. And it looks like in the manual, there's the 2 bearings here. I guess they just go on a shaft. I can't quite remember. We put one down in the hole against the gear and the other one up top, and hopefully that's correct. So that bearing seats down in there perfectly. And then I suppose we'll just put the other bearing on here. Okay, that looks right, because another bearing is gonna fit in the housing on this side. Now both bearings are in place. Well, they were in place. So that's good. Now I'm going to insert the shaft through here. And then push this bearing back down in place. Maybe I can do that with this gear here. Yep, perfect. And now I just need to get the clip back in place, and that's going to be the tricky part. And looking at this old shaft, there is a little groove that the clip should slide into place. These are tricky though, and of course you don't want it to go flying off, but let's try that on the installed one. So I'm going to try to just kind of put this in place. Like that. Think that did it. Yep, she's locked in place now and not going anywhere. So now all we should have to do is go ahead and put the differential back together. These two screws here go on the top, so it should line up like this. And that looks good. And I'll go ahead and take my 2mm hex driver and screw these in gently. And once I get them all snugged, I'll tighten them down at the same time. But first, I'm gonna need to go ahead and get these dog bones back in place. All right, so what I'm gonna do is put the dog bone in so it lines up with the shaft. That way I can tip it up like this. Then I'm gonna go ahead and rotate the other side until it lines up as well. You're just gonna have to fool with this a little bit. And then it should seat in place when you get it right. There we go, I got it in there. Now what I'm gonna have to do is line up the suspension arm and then put the pin back in. I think that's gonna work. Now I just need to do the other side. Same thing. Put the dog bone in. Very good. I'm gonna pull this out and then slide it back down in place. And we're locked in. That looks good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this plastic piece back in place where it can cover the pins. Perfect. And then if we remember, there was a shorter screw that went in the middle hole and then two longer ones that went on the end. Like this. Then I'll take my 2mm hex driver and these should go right back in place. I will say this is actually a pretty nice design and pretty easy to work on. I've been really happy with that about this car. It looks like the major problem is just the shaft for the spur gear is way too thin. It's a weak part in the design, and I can't find an easy way to you know, fix that. My buddy Britt over at 10 Scale RC Performance, he has a fix, but it involves being able to weld and some fabrication skills. So not something that, you know, all of us are gonna be able to do. But I think the key is gonna be to get the slipper clutch adjusted so that it's not grabbing too tight, but tightly enough that it's not gonna spin like crazy. But there we go. We're in business, and with the slipper clutch, it came pretty tight. I might actually have to loosen it a little more. Just gonna have to fool with that a bit, and I guess you will too, to get it just right. All right, I'm gonna go with that. So now I need to go ahead and get the truck put the rest of the way back together. So we're gonna wanna go ahead and line up the spur gear with the pinion. It goes right in that slot. And then I think I might wanna go ahead and put this drive shaft in place. Just gonna twist this until it seats in the slot on both ends. All right, we're in place now. So for the next step, I'm gonna go ahead and carefully hold this together. And flip the truck over. And it looks like the 4 holes are aligned. There we go. Okay, now we need to put this little piece here that holds the bearing in place back into its slot. I believe it goes like that. Okay, and now this plastic piece is going to slide back over the spur gear. It's going to help hold that other plastic piece you just slid in place where it should be. That appears good. And then we're going to go ahead and put the metal chassis piece into its slots. I'm going to guess 2 of the longer ones are going to go down in here. And then I have 2 slightly shorter ones, which I'm going to try to put up here. Now there's one with kind of a pan head here. And I'm going to put that one, I'm thinking here for this post because it kind of fits the shape of the plastic here. And then I have a long and short one left. I'm going to put the long one here because it has more plastic to go through. And then the short one will go in that remaining hole. This might not be the right screw for this hole, but I don't run the cover because I have a 27 tooth pinion here and I can't fit the other plastic cover. So I have a smaller screw, possibly a smaller screw than what was in here originally, but it appears to be long enough to grab what it needs to grab. All right, that's good. All right, and there we go. Everything's back together and seems to be as it should. Very nice. I'm gonna keep an eye on his slipper clutch and keep it hopefully loose enough that it's not quite as hard on this shaft, because that appears to be the weak spot in this truck. Oh, the last thing, my antenna is rubbing, so I do need to pull this up into the slot that I fabricated here to keep it nice and erect how I like it. All right guys, that's all I have for now. If this video is helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will get this truck out soon. I'm gonna run some taller tires on it and I'm gonna shoot for 80 miles an hour is my next goal. Then I'm gonna throw a higher KV motor in here. This is only 3,300 and I have a 4,600, which should add quite a bit of speed, getting it up well above 90 miles an hour, possibly even approaching 100, but baby steps here. I don't even know if this shaft's gonna hold up. It might be the speed that's actually hurting it as much as the torque of accelerating. So next goal, 80 miles an hour. Stay tuned.